11,490 pounds, the Montana 330 RL here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This is the most popular of the High Country series, and for good reason. It maintains the full-time RVing warranty that all Montanas have, auto-leveling king bed 2 airs, as you see it here today at least. And all those campsite windows plus a 43% larger bathroom makes it absolutely awesome for destination use. Signaling quite the departure from what Montana's been doing for the last umpteen years, I'd like to formally introduce you to the modern Maple Edition Montanas. Now, this isn't like an optional wood tone. This is how they look. And at the time of this filming, they only offer one fabric decor as well. This is just the way that this High Country looks currently. Now, the longer this footage goes, the less true that might become. So we got a lot to cover. Oh, real quick. I didn't have a chance to get to this one when the slide was closed. However, you can see that when the slide is closed, you can actually still fully access the refrigerator. You can get to both doors when the slide is closed. And you can also snake around and get to this side of your dining. So it is very traveling stop friendly, not to mention the fact that this is just such an awesome brand for destination use. Oh man, we got a lot to cover. All right, from the top down, we've got a MaxxAir rain censoring vent fan above your kitchen there, which is awesome on those days where you just want to open your living room windows and suck in some extra airflow there. Those things put up a heck of a breeze. Now the fan back there is actually a 12-volt fan. That's something that they changed in the previous generation. So it looks like a resi fan, a residential fan, but it is 12-volt operated. Now you still have that direct facing entertainment center here with those power theater recliners on Boardwalk and Park Place straight across from the entertainment center. Naturally we've got our, Bluetooth, DVD, all that stuff. That's normal things, but we do still have that electric space heating fireplace below. And that is not the only electric heater this RV has. A really cool thing in all the Montanas is that what you would call, I guess, your main AC over your living area also has a 16,500 BTU heat pump in it. So that, in conjunction with the fireplace, gives this RV over 22,000 BTUs of heating power before you ever need to flip on the furnace. Now, if it does get super duper cold, you can always flip on the gas furnace and use those heat pumps and engage your 12-volt tank heaters to get you through just about any crazy weather situation. This is obviously a couple's camper, but you do have a large guest bed back here, and it does work well for 2 adults. I know, because I spent an extended weekend on Mr. Haylett's rear hide-a-bed with my wife, and while we were doing that, we actually just threw our daughter over here, well, not threw, but you get the idea, on the theater seat that's unobstructed, laid that back, and she slept just fine right there. Actually, she was still sleeping long after everybody else woke up. So what's kind of cool here is that TV can pivot around. Actually, after we're done with this, I'll pivot that so you can see it. But it's great for, like, if you got somebody who wants to stay up a little late, watch some TV, or if you do have a weekend with some grandkids, you can get their little bodies to slow down. You still maintain side stands with household and USB outlets on both sides. So it is guest phone and CPAP friendly. And another thing I wanted to demonstrate here are these blackout roller shades. But not just that. They go down so far past the window. And I mean, if you look at this, look how much, that's how much extra fabric basically you have before you start to see the window. So you can absolutely make sure that you are blotting out the sun if you are so inclined, which is an awesome way to help survive the hot climate camping a little bit more comfortably. There's a good look at that TV in pivot mode. Very handy if you want to sit over at the dining area and, catch a bite to eat, but still catch your show. Well, one of my favorite things about this floor plan is just the football field worth of windows that you have wrapping around the entirety of the door side super slides that you get to look at your campsite instead of the neighbors. And that makes this whole thing look and feel massive by comparison. Now these are 6.5 foot tall walk-in slide outs, which is very nice for a tall goofball like me, especially if I find myself on the inside seat there at the dinette. It allows me to get up and scoot around without, worrying about smashing my head on anything. Now over here, all of our kitchen countertops are going to be a solid surface. And there are stainless sinks underneath that island right there. What's nice is what Montana does is they have one big farm sink and then one like small veggie prep sink. So you can really kind of customize what you're doing to what the situation calls for. And if Arby's has the meats, Montana has the kitchen.
We've got the kitchen.
I mean, this is a kitchen that just don't quit. You can see up top here, huge amounts of shelf space. And I love the little level exchange just to give it some shape and character. And that is a perfect little coffee bar corner right there, which leads me into something very important. This is a great model if you have lots of kitchen appliances. Actually, most Keystones are. Cougars, Montanas especially, are fantastic about easy reach appliance outlets. There's 2 on the coffee bar, 2 on the face of the island. If we swing over here past that 4-door gas electric fridge freezer, you see 2 more inside of that little like hutch enclosure there. By the way, quick note on the fridge. I'm calling this video a 330RL because it has the RV fridge. It would be called a 331RL with a residential refrigerator. We prefer the electric gas electric fridge here at Haylett RV because it does have better service records, and God forbid you ever lose power, it'll just kick itself right over and you're not going to lose the hundreds of dollars worth of stuff that you have in there. So we talked about appliance outlets. You saw the cabinet space around the coffee bar. But even around the oven, it just don't quit, including a full extension drawer below the oven with a nice little faceplate to kind of dress it up. That's something that these are very, very good about. Extra large residential size microwave means you can cook up some big stuff in a hurry. And dedicated pantry space right next to the pantrytainment center means you have no shortage of storage going on here in this area. But we're not done. Because we haven't really given this island its day in court. I mentioned the sink, but thought, hey, peel those cover off. Let people, see what we're talking about here. So you can see you've got one big farm sink. You can still clean big pots and pans in there, but you still have like a little veggie prepper rinse station. Handy little drawer here. This is perfect for like, individual little cooking utensils and whatnot. But a dedicated wastebasket space, room for pots and pans, or your dish soaps and stuff. And you see that little light switch right there. That is for the under-counter accent lights that you might not be consciously aware of them being on right now, but you would definitely notice if they weren't on. And then plywood drawers at the floor over here. There are 7 drawers, well, 8 including the drawer under the stove here in this kitchen area. And it gives you just an awesome amount of quick access storage. Shifting over to the upper deck hallway, we are first greeted by the central vacuum system, kind of built right into the steps right here, which is a neat little spot for them. Also, motion lighting on that so that it'll either turn on right when you get back or if you are going upstairs. I have a thing about not being able to hang a coat right by the door in big fifth wheel, so it's good to see that this one's getting that job done. And our control panel's all hidden away up here, away from little hands. So whether it's that 12-volt ceiling fan, your 12-volt heated holding tanks, water heater, awnings, lights, slides, all that stuff, it's all accessible right here so that, the little hands and the neighbors and whatever can't get to it. But one of the calling cards of this floor plan is most certainly the bathroom. In comparison to something like a 294 Montana or a 3120 Montana, the 330 or 331, whichever you happen to be looking at, has a 43% larger bathroom. And that is what's giving us all this extra dressing space, tons of storage, and that double lavatory sink station right there with sealed edge countertops. But I mentioned that word storage. We're in a video. Let's look at it, not talk about it. And this has a very household feel with those dual vanities. And then in the middle, I call that the medicine cabinet. But it's a little deeper, so it's also good for like shavers and stuff. The sink fixtures being in the corner, the faucets, it looks kind of funny, but it works just fine. Like, it doesn't stop you from getting your hands wet or washed or anything like that. And then either being able to have your own little individual waste baskets or just tons of drawer space. Whatever the case, it is good to go here. Now, as we wrap our way around the corner, one of the things that I think they did very intelligently is instead of give us a wastefully large 60-inch shower, they went with a still plenty large, like 50-ish inch shower, and that includes this huge extra linen cabinet right there, next to this seamless one-piece molded fiberglass shower, complete with its own little corner seating area, which is something I know a lot of people look for in a fifth wheel. And in case you hadn't noticed, the general trend in this Montana is like brand new look, same great taste. We still have that second 15,000 BTU air conditioner, giving us 30,000 BTUs of cooling power. We have the ability to option up to a king bed, like you see right here, extra large bedside windows. That's actually a cool Montana thing that a lot of people miss. Montanas have a little bit deeper bed slides, which means more room at the foot of the bed. Now, as you may have noticed when I turned in here initially, this is stackable ready, washer dryer prepped. I love that big window right there. And you can see that if you want to add a TV to the bedroom, you have all your hookups right there above that big 3-tier dresser. But unlike all fifth wheels, some do this, but not all of them, you have full storage below the bed right here. So you've got a huge chunk of extra long-term capacity. This is great for like guest linens or something like that. Not the stuff you're going to use every day, but the stuff that you really don't want to go without. Just like their Cougar sisters over at Keystone, Montana has made the decision to lighten up their skins a little bit. Not just an interior facelift, but exterior as well. And I think that is a really wise decision, considering this is the #1 choice for full-time RVers for like 17 or 18 consecutive years. Now, a lot of full-time RVers, they tend to follow the sun. So they tend to be in areas like Florida, Arizona, Texas, Georgia, hot climates. So that lighter skin package generating less heat, especially with that reversion to a polar white roof membrane we'll see later, welcome feature. Now, thing is, it's still 37 feet long. It's still 11,500 pounds before you throw cargo in it. You got to be able to enjoy the ride getting there, and that's one of the nice things about having the Road Armor Trail Air pin box up here, that rubber shock dampening, and a matching shock dampening suspension system. Now, Mr. Haylett, his last personal demo was actually Montana, and he is still stuck on how nicely it towed. He's had giant fifth wheels his whole life, and the Montana that he had has been hands down the best towing he's ever experienced. Well, look at the storage again from the other side, but over here I do want to point out you've got motion entry lighting, or well, motion sense lighting, I suppose it is, for your outside compartment here. So if you do need to come out at night, you need to use your black flush or pull your empty, or your tank valves are set up at night, there will be a light ready and waiting for you. Now, there is so much awful misinformation out there about R values. So let me just say it as easily and simply as possible. Montana is and has been hot, cold camp rated since 2005 and counting. It's just not something you got to worry about here. And nice little touch. I love little details like this. The little sewer hose caddy, so your black tank stuff stays away from your freshwater stuff. Because yuck. Now, I mentioned the matching Road Armor suspension, but what does that mean? Well, the cool thing about Road Armor, like, there's a lot of cool suspension upgrade systems out there, and frankly, I will take any of them over no suspension assist. But what I like about that Road Armor system is how it has shock dampening above and below the shackle. And that's part of what helps take that chatter out. You've got reverse travel lighting here. We are rear camera ready. But a new, really cool update on these high countries, and really all the Montanas, is the fact that instead of just a 2-inch rear accessory hitch, they have bulked this up. And it is now a full, official, qualified towing hitch with safety chain hooks, as well as that 4-way wiring harness. So if you want to throw a little trailer, boat, something like that back here, cargo pod, you can now do that without any adverse effects to your Montana's warranty. And that is awesome. Now, we definitely talked about it inside, but anytime we get those campside panoramic windows, I love to point it out so that you can look at your campsite, not the neighbors. I think that's kind of the idea. Now, let's talk a couple things on slides. These have walkable slide boxes, and I don't know that most other brands don't, but I know that most other brands don't talk about it, and typically if a brand doesn't talk about it, there's a reason for it. Kind of like how most brands don't talk about having triple sealed slide outs. You've got 2 sets of wiper seals in play, plus either an interior or exterior bulb seal, depending on the position of the slide, to give you 3 points of contact. A rough textured slide wall to make sure those wiper seals are doing their good job. Then take your fingernail, and you can feel a little inversion groove right here, so that rainwater that trickles down the sidewall hits an inversion, and water can't go up without help, so it beads and drips, and it doesn't try to work its way into your subfloor. It's funny how just little things like that make a big difference. Now, obviously, we've just got that gloriously high gloss exterior here. This thing has a dynamite look about it. And those MORryde steps right there, making it very easy to come and go, especially considering the fact that this is what I call one of the zero-G systems, where you're not going to rip up your shoulder blade, it's not going to fall down on your head and give you a concussion. Now that door is anti-slam, and it is residential height, 30 inches wide. So it's 6.5 foot tall, 30 inches wide, which means easy coming and going. Now you can see, obviously, we've got the dual power awnings over here with, keeping in mind, you have an extended upper deck on the 330RL Montana. That means that this thing has an absolutely massive amount of shaded patio coverage. You see that little white tag hanging down right there? That's a gas grill quick connect. And then you just have drop frame storage compartments, which are easy to get to with the double slam latches, dual magnet catches. So, you know, getting in and out of here, simple, easy. That's motion sense lighting, TV hookups. It has it all. Looks like somebody inside's using that big vent fan there in the kitchen to get some heat out of the camper from transit. But speaking of heat, that's actually one of the things these high countries are going to be good at. They've lightened up the skin, and they've given it a just polar white roof membrane, kind of gone back to classic white roofing because it generates a ton less heat. Now this white puck that we're looking at, that is an attic vent. The attic of an RV is the gap between the roof decking that I'm walking on and the interior ceiling paneling, basically. Now there is roof mount solar prep up here, so that if you do want to go, you know, off-grid camping, you're going to be good to go there. And short of that, I would just like to invite you to give our team here at Haylett RV a call. Service center over there, sales center was on the left, and this is kind of the used section over here, but it doesn't matter what it is. New, used, big, small, otherwise everything in between. The only thing that we can't do for you here at Haylett RV is hidden dealer fees. Well, I mean, we could, we just choose not to. We choose not to do hidden dealer fees. We just don't do our business that way. So, if simple, fun, easy sounds good, give us a call. Let's get you camping. And I don't care where you live. I know people watch these all across the nation. All we need is a phone call. We'll get you camping. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.